Hello and welcome to Access Paranormal. My name's Jamie Williams. Joining me in the studio as usual is my co-host Jonathan Sullivan.
Hello, Jamie.
And two very, very special guests. We've got RUSS KELLETT, who's E.T Rider.
Hi, Jimmy.
And that's from your book, isn't it? Because you're the author of it.
That's right, yep.
And also we've got our very good friend as well, Lynn Murphy.
Hi.
Of Wepra Park.
That's right.
And we'll be talking a little bit about ghosts later on. But first of all, we're going to be talking about UFOs because Russ is a ufologist. Is that the word? Is that correct?
Ufologist, yeah.
Ufologist. Now, Russ, you've brought a book out, as I said before, called E.T Rider. What made you bring this book out?
Well, I started off investigating UFOs nearly 30 years ago now. And I started investigating for the simple reason I'd had some very strange things happen to me. I had close encounters with craft, and basically I'd been abducted. So I started a group up for selfish reasons really, which was trying to find other people that had the same things happen to them that had happened to me. And after nearly 30 years I'm still searching, you know, because not everybody has I've come across have had the same things happen to them that I have. So that's one of the reasons why I started in the subject. And then as I was going on, I was meeting people and setting up talks and mini conferences and having people come and talk about their experiences. And what I realised was there was one or two people that were writing books about their experiences, and when I really looked at the reality of things, I was thinking, well, I'm basically setting up a group and having people come and talk about their experiences, and my experiences and what I've had happen to me is better than theirs, you know. So I thought to myself, well, there might be a book in it somewhere along the line. And I thought that because one or two people had already been telling me, look, you've got people coming and talking and telling you about their experiences, but what you've actually had happen to you is better than what they've had happen to them. So I started off some years ago writing this book and a script for a film. And it was just one of those things where I'd met some guys in a production company, and they were wanting to do something and make a film. But unfortunately, there was just not enough money around, for them to make a film, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
So I just decided to, put my notes down and write this book and this script. And what happened, obviously, was something that, was unforeseen, and that was family illness and people in my family that were seriously ill. And I became a carer overnight.
So
and
that held you back.
It put it on a back burner, if you see what I mean.
Mm-hmm. You okay, yeah.
Yeah. Oops. So, putting on a back burner, and then not having the time until the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
And having a lot of help from Lynn, because she's been not only proofreading the book, but she's been altering all the spelling mistakes and my grammar. So it's really down to Lynn that I've got this book out.
Well, down to the both of yous, really.
Well,
yeah. Now, the book itself, I mean, sadly, I haven't got my glasses on, so I've not had to been able to have a look at it. And it's quite a thick book, and it's I mean, I've had a quick look at the titles and things like that, and it's all in categories. Now, does it go from when you first started to the present, or is
That's
it?
right.
This, I know it's going to be
Yeah.
part one, isn't it? There's going to be another book coming out.
Well, the other books are about over 25 years of investigation into just one case, and that's the Berwyn Mountains case,
right.
which happened on the 23rd of January 1974 around North Wales, and so that is going to be the second book.
Right.
So it's almost finished.
Right. So well, you'll have to come back and tell us all about that one as well.
I'd love to.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant. Now, I want to go back to the beginning of the interview when you turned around and you said you were abducted. Would you be able to share that experience with us?
Of course, yeah. Well, it had happened, to be quite honest. This is like a lifelong experience. And, basically, I had 100% recall of everything that had actually happened to me. So, what happened was, on just one occasion, back then I was on a scooter, and I was flying down this corner, straightened up, and I came across a tunnel in the middle of the road. And I thought, heck, and put my brakes on. And I remember putting my brakes on so hard that the nipple on the brake cable snapped. Right, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And I flew into this tunnel. And then I'm inside this room. These tall blokes, like bald, about 10 foot tall, and I think at that time they were wearing like a blue sort of like uniform. And I'm sat down now in this chair, like a dentist chair, and I'm being raised back, and I'm panicking, and I mean I'm panicking, and basically my mouth's opened, and they put this thing in my mouth, and they put this tube down my throat, and then on the end of this tube was like an helmet, and this helmet went over my head. So I mean, like, I was absolutely petrified. And they're saying, don't worry. And I'm thinking, don't worry. Yeah, I should go. Anyway, so the next thing, I'm this tube's been taken out and what have you. And I've been elevated up. And this chair's turned into like... I can't really explain it, but it's changed, and it's like a little seat now, and it's like on like wires, and I'm being elevated up, and I'm looking down, and I'm like in this arena, and there's like this massive big screen, and there's like instructions being given, and we're watching, and it's almost like like when you've been, it's like you've been taught something and somebody's going through instructions. And basically there were more or less military instructions of like what to do in certain scenarios and what have you. So now this is finished, and sort of like I'm back down. And I find myself outside of this room, and I'm on my scooter, and the scooter's almost sort of like going into the side of the road and hitting a wall. It's going that slow. So I looked around and looking all around and thinking, what's going on? So, basically that was one of the first things that actually happened. And I just could not make any sense of what had happened coming up that road. Now, it was later on, I was on a trail bike months later, and I was more or less on the same road, which I took Lynn and showed her the place where I was at. I was meditating up on this rock called Druid's Altar.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd been up there, and I'd parked my trail bike, and I'd been using something called I think, well, back then I called it a mastermind or something, or mind machine, and it was for like meditating, and you could have tapes, meditation tapes, and you could use it as the tapes were like, hypnotizing tapes, like.
Oh yeah.
So
like,
you put these in, and they went through all the different pulses. You had these glasses on, and they pulsed different coloured lights, and there was a sound, and there was different frequencies.
Right. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And it was like for different states, alpha state, omega state, things like that. So I've been using these as a training aid, because I did a bit of martial arts back in them days. Anyway, I'd taken this set off, and as I'm taking it off, I just had this overwhelming feeling that all around me there was like hundreds of people looking at me, stood all around me, and sort of like I'm shivering now actually thinking about it. And so all right then, so I put them back in its case and what have you, in my combat jacket, grabbed my crash helmet and went and got back on my motorbike and went back down the road. Now I'd had an injury to my knee training, so the next night I'd gone back over to see my friend, and he did acupuncture. So I went in and he said, do you want to come in and I'll do your knee for you, sort of like. So I'd had half an hour of like acupuncture treatment on my knee. And what happened was I had a coffee later on. Then I set off on my way home.
Yeah.
And I was travelling, and it was the same road, and it's a road going up past Druid's Altar, going up towards what do you call it now, the Flappit. And what happened was the same thing again. I'm going up there on my trail bike, and the next thing there's this tunnel in the middle of the road.
Same place.
Same place. So I'm trying to slow down, and it's not happening. I'm going straight in. So I thought, right, so I put my throttle back and I flew in it. And the next thing, the same thing again. I'm back in this chair, and I'm laid back, and there's these tall, like aliens, bald heads and what have you, looking and talking to me and what have you. I've been taken back, and the same thing, same procedure. There's something in back of my neck, like must have put something in my neck, an injection or something. My mouth will open, this tubing, and this helmet comes down. And again, I'm like risen up in this chair. It had changed, and like the wires were taking me up, and I'm back in this like arena. And I'm trying to think the name of this thing. Like not 3D, or what the heck do you call it now? When you can see an image and it looks like it's 3D.
Hologram.
Hologram.
Yeah.
And there's this hologram in the middle of this big arena. And like now, there's a sequence of events telling you about your uniform, about this weapon, how this weapon's loaded, how this weapon works, how it fires. You know, it's just unbelievable. So it's like a training exercise. And again, I find myself back on my motorbike, and this time at a stall speed, sort of like being overtaken by a car and sort of like in the middle of the road and somebody in a car pipping at me and, you know, like telling me to get over and what have you. So I pulled over side of the road, and I'm thinking, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what the heck is going on? You know, sort of like, so I thought, tell you what, I don't think I'll come down this way again. You know.
Mm.
So now a few months has passed, and I'm building a motorbike up, and I got this job done, and there was a slight problem with it. So one of my mates said, go over and see this chap at this pub, and he had the same problem. He'll tell you how we fixed his problem, you know, with this chopper. So I goes over, and I were in there a couple of hours. The bloke never turned up, and I'm looking at my watch, and I'm thinking, well, I'm going to have to get off now because I've got work in the morning. You know what I mean? Bloke ain't going to come now at this time. So I set off for home, and I'm on a motorbike this time, a bigger motorbike, a chopper this time. So I'm there going home, and what happened was I came to this level crossing. I went back for book to take a picture of it, you know. And what happens is there's these like lights coming down, these red lights, and I'm thinking, oh, it's the barriers, because there's barriers here, and it's a level crossing. So I slows down, and the next thing, there's this almighty white light all around me. So I'm looking behind me, thinking it's a wagon or a truck or something that's pulled up behind me, because I can feel the heat at the back of my neck. So I'm not happy. I'm thinking, this is somebody messing about.
Was this a different road, Russ? Yeah.
This is a different road now,
right.
Yeah. So anyway, the next thing, I'm like floating. I'm like floating up in the air. And then I'm back down, sat on my motorbike, the light's gone, and these red lights have gone. So I'm thinking, right, I better move myself now. I'm sat in the middle of the road, and, you know, there might be cars. It was late on at night, don't get me wrong, but it were not busy, but, you know, you're sat in the middle of the road, you want to be moving just in case, don't you?
Yeah, yeah.
So I carries on, and I comes to a place called Flappit, where we used to do a lot of trail bike riding and what have you. And I'm flying down there, and I see this silver ball of light, and it's there following me. And it's going over houses, farms, it's going over trees, it's coming closer. It's coming closer, it's going over more trees, it's going over farm buildings, it's coming closer. So I put my throttle back, and I'm flying, and I'm thinking, I've got past this, you know what I mean? All of a sudden, it's at the side of me now, and it shoots across in front of me. And it basically came down, and it was about 20 foot in the sky, and it took off and shot up into the sky over the road. So I slowed down, and I could see a bloke, and he was driving, and I could see him like this, and I'm looking, did you see that? And he's just driving, you know, opposite direction. He hadn't seen nothing, you know. So I slowed down and pulled over to Flappit, where there's like a car park, you know. So I sat there, and I lit a cig up, and I watched this silver ball, and it went over towards a place called Halifax. So I thought, flipping heck, you know, It was a fairly big ball of big as a. I would say it was as big as a truck. You know, like a Bedford van or something.
Yeah.
You know, like silver ball. 20 foot. You know, sort of like 20 foot sort of thing. Anyway, now I gets in and my dog comes to the door, lets it out to go to the toilet and what have you. And I'm going to get a coffee, but someone said, no, don't get a coffee, go to bed. You know, I don't want to wake everybody up because it was later than what I thought. So the next morning, I can hear my mum and she's shouting, you want to get to bed at the right time, you lad? She said, when you got work in the morning. I heard you coming in. What time do you call that? You know, I thought, oh hell. So I said, all right, ma'am, yeah. So anyway, she goes out to work, my dad, my sister and what have you. So I goes out, typical bloke, straight out without a wash, you know what I mean, straight to work. And let me dog out and what have you, dog back in and then goes in work. And I no sooner got through the doors at work, and one of the lasses come up and she goes, have you seen your face? I said, have you seen yours? She says, no, I mean it, Russ, I'm not joking. I said, I mean it, you should see your face. She said, no, look, she says, now I've taken my crash helmet off. And she said, you want to have a look at your face? She says, did you overdo it on sunbed? I said, what are you on about? She said, go have a look. And so in my office, there's this sort of like mirror, sort of goes in. She said, look, all my face, I had an open face helmet, and sort of like all my face had been open to elements, were all red. Back of my neck and my hands. So anyway, I spent all day being sort of like, you know, cribbed by these women at work, and I work with about 100 women. So we're getting a load of, you know, sort of like, and you know, I think at the time somebody had been on television, they'd overdone it on a sunbed, and you know, and so I was getting the same thing, you know, like
Perfect timing.
yeah. Anyway, the next day when I got up, I was ill. I was absolutely ill, you know, sick as a dog, vomiting and sort of like headache. Lasted a week, so I had to go to doctors. Anyway, doctor turned around and said, well, I don't know what it is. By this time, he's given me this ointment to put on my face because now all my face is blistered. So I look like a lizard. I look like I was peeling, you know, like shedding skin, you know what I mean? And it got, from that, I would say, it got worse and worse. And I started having to go to hospital because my liver was packing in a little bit.
Right.
So anyway, I had these flashbacks of me being in this checkered board room with like these tall, like they look like knights.
That's the picture in your book, isn't it?
That's
What you've
right,
drawn, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, there was them, and just couldn't figure things out. You know, there's something not quite right about all this. Anyway, I'm going and I'm having more sort of like tests and what have you, and so it was an ongoing thing. You know what I mean? It was an ongoing thing. So I eventually goes back out and I've, you know, sort of like got my motorbike sorted out and what have you, and myself sorted out, I should say, more than anything. And I'm thinking I'm going to sell my motorbike. I feel so ill. I'm going to sell my motorbike, so I did. In the end, the next thing that happened was just unbelievable. I'm upstairs in my bedroom. I'm listening to some music, and what happens is that the door is about 6 inches open.
Yeah.
And I'm listening to music, laid on my bed, and the next thing, the gable end of the room turned black. And I'm looking at him thinking, and I mean jet black.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, these jet black figures just walked through my bedroom.
Oh, wow.
Like, there must be about 8 shadow people.
Wow.
Now, they were as tall as my bedroom, but I had this feeling that they shouldn't have been in because they were so big.
Yeah.
They were so big they wouldn't have fit in the bedroom, all these shadow people. And they're telling me, you're coming with us. And I'm saying, I'm not. By this time, my sister is going to the bathroom. She's watching EastEnders, and she's going up to the bathroom because she needs, to go to the toilet, like, and she can hear me talking. And she's saying, "Oh, the hell are you talking to?" And I said, "Oh, these lot, I says, "Oh, they've gone now." And I'm having this argument with them. I'm telling them, "You're not going to do that." "Oh, yes, we are." "No, you're not. And you're not taking me." "No, you're not." Anyway, my sister opened the door. She says, "You're talking to her?" I said, "Oh, they've gone back now, front wall." And she looked at me, "Oh, bloody hell." Oh, pardon me. So she goes downstairs and she said to me, "Mum and Dad," she said, "I don't know what's happening." She said, "But I'm just talking to RUSS, and he's in a bit of a way, and I don't know what's up with him." So anyway, things are getting worse and what have you. I comes downstairs, and so this is exactly 9 o'clock now, just after 9 o'clock, and we've got somebody called Norman Schwarzkopf, commonly known as Storming Norman.
Yeah, I know that name.
And he'd just taken Kuwait.
So that was 1991, wasn't it?
Yeah. Just taken Kuwait. So this is when it happened. So I'm there, basically downstairs now. I cannot go back in my bedroom. Then go back in my bedroom.
Was that with fear?
Yeah. With these things, and one of them in particular telling me what was going to happen, what they were doing. I'm saying, "No, you're not taking me. You're not taking me again." No.
Because that would have been the third time, wouldn't it, that one?
Yeah.
No.
But it was slightly different. These were like different.
I was going to say, were they different aliens?
Well, apparently something had happened. And that is another, whether they were from Earth, had actually brought me back because I'd been taken prisoner.
What, by the other two?
By the ones from Earth.
Yeah.
And they brought me back to the planet where I'd been originally.
Yeah.
And they left me there. My own unit came and took me back, and I had to go in quarantine. Funny is that, because the first time I ended up in quarantine, and they said that the only reason why that I were alive was because I didn't kill one of their officers.
Wow.
And that was the only reason. Anyway, well, because we're on a planet, there was supposed to be no human life forms, and I had a shot some over in my sights, and I gives it, "He's human. And he shouldn't be here." And I had him in my sights, and I could have shot him, and he knew. I got shot by him and by somebody in my own team by accident, and I ended up basically being taken and then brought back. Anyway, so the thing is, so that was that time. So what happens now is I'm having to go to hospital because I am not well at all.
Yeah.
I'm not well at all because obviously we've got all this going on, And in hospital, one of the doctors turned around and said, you know, if I didn't know any better, I'd say that he had what you would call space sickness. That means that, you know, I'd been out in space. Like maybe on one of these,
Right, yeah.
you know, sort of like American, what do you call it? I forgot what they call them now.
Or the Apollos. Like the
Yeah, one of these missions where they're out in space station, I think they call it. So there's all that lot going on. Then I'm just getting over that, and you know, doctors are saying, well, you know, there's something wrong with my blood. All my white cells, I think they're called white corpuscles or something, and my red corpuscles, there's something wrong with them, and what have you, with my liver. And they're saying that, yeah, you know, it's like as if he's got space sickness. So I'm told, you know, like I can't really do this, I can't do that, I can't work, I can't do this because I'm not well enough, I'm being sick, I've lost weight, I've lost my hair. You know, it's almost like radiation sickness as well, you know.
Yeah, right.
So I'm just then coming round, getting over things. And my dad comes in from the shop, it's about a year later or so, I think. And the next thing, he's talking to us, he's got the papers, and I'm reading this paper, Sunday paper and what have you. And all of a sudden, something is taking my memory out of my mind.
Okay.
It's pulling my memory out of my mind. Now, I had 100% recollection of all the times I'd been abducted by the different alien races. The alien race, this human race that brought me back, and I had recognition of all the aliens that we'd fought in different battles. This happened, and all of a sudden, my memory's going. Right, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm talking gobbledygook now to my dad. I'm slavering, and it looks like I'm having a stroke. My dad shouts at my sister and my mum.
Yeah.
And he gives us something wrong with our Russ. I'm going to have to take him to hospital. Mum said, well, call an ambulance. He said, I don't think he's going to be around to call an ambulance. So he grabs hold of me. My dad ain't big, you know what I mean? But he picked me up, and he took us to that car, and he took us to hospital. I get to hospital, they turn around, and they put me in an isolation ward. They dropped me off. He came back, and then when he came back down to the same hospital, they said he's next door in an isolation ward. I was there 3 days, and they said if it's one of these 5 things, or 2 or 3 of these, he'll be dead. He won't be coming home.
Okay.
So I was there, and they said, well, we don't know exactly what it was. But I was in isolation mode. I couldn't see me mum and dad for 3 days. Then they came, and they said, oh, you can go home now. I had memory loss. I'd gone blind.
Right.
I'd gone deaf, and I couldn't speak.
Oh, right.
And that was because of what happened to you?
Well, you know, it's a case I've been abducted. I'm telling people about all this, and it's strange. I was all right before. Anyway,
it's amazing that you. I mean, Jonathan said this, how you can recollect exactly what happened.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even comprehend how it feels to have been abducted. I was saying to you before the show, I've never experienced anything at all like that. But I'm sitting here with somebody who has. Sorry?
You want to thank yourself lucky that you haven't.
Well, I am,
you know,
yeah.
Because it's, you know, people say, oh, I've heard silly people to, oh, I'd love to have been abducted. Oh, it's so amazing. I'm thinking, really? And the problem is, abduction, look what it says in the Oxford Dictionary, what it is, taken without consent.
Yeah. But also, I mean, it's a dangerous thing to say, I'd love to be abducted. You don't know what these aliens are actually going to do to you. You don't know. Sounds like exciting. It sounds, like an adventure. But every story I've heard like that, I mean, I've only seen it on the TV. I've never met a real life of ufologist, which is brilliant. They all say similar things. They're frightened, they're being prodded, and then all of a sudden they appear back where they were before.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Well, I mean, the thing is, I remembered I've been put in a unit, then I started remembering everything. Like, the next time we're taken, we're not using the helmets, it's no longer training exercises, it's live and on their planet. And I'm being put into a unit. We've got all his clothes, there's weapons, and then we travel. And we travel, like I say, by this teleportation unit, and there's time travel as well. We fought quite a few different alien races, and we fought different armies working alongside alien races, not only in different planets, on different planets I should say, but on this planet as well. There is more going on this planet than you could ever imagine, and the government knows about it because they're part of it.
I was going to bring something up there, Russ. There's a film out at the moment, I'm not sure whether it's on Netflix or Amazon Prime or something like that, and what you described, it's about a fella who's called up to battle against the aliens, and he has to go to the future to battle on these things to save the planet. I'll find out the name. I can't think of the name at the moment.
I know what it is.
Do you know it?
Yeah, because the thing is, the book's there in front of you. That was written, and sort of like the Tomorrow War.
That's it. That's the film, and I watched it, and I was thinking, are they trying to? This is the way thing, and we were talking about it with Lynn a little bit before the show. Is are they putting things on the TV? And I've said this for years, putting things into the programs to get you used to them, to get you, your mind. Because if you just throw it out there, your mind's boggled. Our minds are boggled anyway with some of the stuff. But are they putting them into these films? Are they giving us like a little bit of a, not brainwash in a way, but getting us used to what's coming?
That's right, yeah. Well,
is that Tomorrow's World? Is that the same thing? Not Tomorrow's World, it's Tomorrow's War, sorry.
Yeah, well, it's similar. It's not exactly.
Yeah.
I'd seen it, and one of my friends turned around and goes, something? That is very similar to what's happened to you. John said that. Me'd seen it, and he says, I just can't believe it. He said that, that is...
Yeah.
I would say that mine's a better story. It's a lot better because the thing is, it's real, and the thing is, it isn't. Like I've seen it. It's very close to Starship Troopers and other things. Yeah. Mine is a little bit different because, that book is talking about things that are happening here as well. Yeah. And closer to home, which is a worry. It really is a worry. Yeah. But like I say, one of the strange things in the book, what you can see is that my doctor actually, because I got all my medical records out, you see, and what it says is, from my doctor, he's putting it, Mr. Kellett is a UFO group.
I've seen that. It's quite near the back, isn't it? That part, yeah.
So why would my doctor, in my records, in my notes, put that? And who's going to see that?
Well, yeah, because I mean, as you know, all our doctors' notes are now on computerized. Is that for just to get a warning? Just be careful of this man, or?
Oh yeah, probably. Having said that, I mean, in what way?
Mm.
You know, I mean,
Because all you're doing is tell us what's out there. You know, it's strange, isn't it, that it's hidden from us. Why is it hidden from us? Is it beyond our comprehension? Is that what it is?
No.
Are they trying to protect us,
No.
or are they just keeping it from us for keeping us from us' sake?
Well, you know, I won't put anything past any of the governments around the world.
Yeah.
But when I was talking on a radio show over 2 years ago, I was telling them about one of the alien races working very, very close with Chinese Oriental race and the tall blue aliens. And I said a warning here because they've got some amazing technology. And you're going to see it shortly. It supersedes a lot of the alien technology what we've got. And unfortunately, you'll see a civil war. You'll see a civil war in every country around the world. Not just England, but every country. You'll know when it happens because you'll be sat looking in disbelief thinking, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
If you have a look around every country around the world today, it's as much as a civil war as you'll get anywhere, because what you've got to remember is we're not getting any news. We haven't had news for over 2 years. Right, yeah? I mean, you're only getting dribs and drabs of little bits that are coming out. And I know from people that I speak to in America, over in France, Germany, that there's things going on, and in this country as well, that and Australia, that is not right. There's things going on. We've got a tyrannical police force that don't seem to be able to fight crime, but it can fight against the people that it's supposed to be helping. That's the public. In America, the same. We've got, never before has anything ever happened where the White House is just in limbo. Nobody knows who's running what, you know. And people are saying that, you know, we just cannot live like this much longer. Something is going to have to give.
Yeah.
And it's the same in every country. Everybody's talking about the same thing. Something not quite right going on.
Yeah, definitely.
You know?
But, I mean, you're really into it, aren't you, Jonathan?
Yeah. I think that was a couple of experiences many years ago of seeing strange lights and objects in the sky. And that's as close as I've ever come.
Yeah.
Nothing like what you've experienced. But definitely unexplainable. Really unexplainable.
Well, I was one of the first people to actually call upon professional and basically get them to help look at video footage, what me and my colleagues and friends had videoed. And one of the things that we found is, you know, we're showing these videos to this guy who worked for Expert Witness Association. Turn around and says, well, I can tell you what they're not, but I can't tell you what they are.
Yeah.
Heard that before.
Yeah.
That seems to be their statement a lot.
You know, we can tell you that, you know, that's not an aircraft, it's not a balloon, and they can tell you by the light, the frequency of a light, they can tell you what kind of light it is.
Yeah.
The so many watts or whatever it is. They can tell you if it's like a match. They can tell you if it's a candle. They can tell you if it's a torch, a normal bulb torch, an LCD torch. They can tell you if it's a flame, a gas flame, all the different,
Yeah.
you know, sort of like the different lights, what there is from a star, a planet, an aircraft, a car, a motorbike, every single light that's ever been made and ever shined, and on this special program, it tells you exactly what's what. And some of the lights that we're filming, what we filmed, and they said, what is it? Unknown.
They don't know what it is.
Not known in the program. So that means, you know, it's not an aircraft, it's nothing that we know on this planet.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're getting some good information from these things.
Yeah.
But the problem is, you know when you're looking at something, you watch the whole of the actual incident from start to finish, from where something turns up and where it leaves your sight.
Yeah.
And then you can get a better perspective then of what you're looking at and what it could be. If you just look at something, glance, and oh yeah, it's a UFO or whatever, you know, it could be anything. But when you start researching and looking at what it could be, you know, you start asking questions. I mean, I've seen things, that must be a balloon, and then when you sat down, you're looking at, well, can't be. And then, you know, I've video things, and we've seen things go overhead, and we've filmed, and what they look like when they're coming down and landing don't look like what they looked when they went overhead.
Yeah.
You know, I filmed something, me and my friend, we saw this strange craft like a triangle, two-tone silver and white triangle, and then when it came down and landed, it was like an ejector seat.
Alright.
It looked like an ejector seat, and somebody else said that it looked like a flying man. You know, but that wasn't exactly what we saw. Just as I was getting the actual video camera out. If I'd have got it out sooner, you'd have seen exactly what it was like when it were overhead.
Yeah.
That's the worst part, and it always seems to happen when you.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I filmed other things. Triangles coming out at sea.
Yeah.
Two flying triangles, Filey Bay, come out of the sea, and I'm filming 20 minutes, and you can see they're at the side of the road. And that's on my YouTube. I think I've got a YouTube channel still. And you can see, you know, that these things are in the sea and then they take off.
Yeah.
And they're side by side, which is very dangerous. You've got two flying triangles in the sea side by side. They take off and then they fly down south towards Bridlington, the next town from where I live.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been to Farley.
Yeah, I've been up that way.
And I can't think of what it was like to see something like that come out the water. But that again, that's another regular thing you hear, is that they're in the water.
Yeah.
Right. If you think of movies again, quite often they're underwater.
Yeah, well, the Navy is saying now that they're sending jet fighters from their aircraft carriers chasing after these things, and Lynn had filmed something near where she lives at Flintshire, like these things called Tic Tacs, and this is something, you know, like, well, it's all right, you know, the Navy is saying that their jet fighters pilots are seeing these things. Well, so are we, and we've been seeing them for a long time. We've been filming them for a long time. You know, what do you think about somebody, a government and what have you, who for years have said we can neither confirm or deny, and then all of a sudden they're jumping up and down and saying, oh well, we don't know what they are, but they don't seem to be a threat, but then again, having said that, they can outrun us, you know.
Yeah, and the
that's
funny,
a worry.
yeah. Well, the other worry is, as well, as when you're talking about it, You know, there are going to be people out there who are going to ridicule it and make fun of it, and that's where it's wrong.
Oh, don't worry, I make fun and ridicule other people. I don't bother.
No, that's fair enough, but I mean,
believe me, there's nobody worse than me.
No, but it in a way it's wrong because it's making people frightened to open up and come out. It's the same with the paranormal. We'll be talking about the paranormal in a little bit anyway, but
it's human nature.
Of course it is. Yeah, I mean it's like
it's human nature.
And we've had it, haven't we, Jonathan? Where you tell people stories and they go, yeah, okay, like that,
whatever.
And it's that subject, isn't it? UFOs, the aliens, and you know, I mean, I'm sitting here listening to you, and I'm thinking, how do you fight a war against aliens? But that's because I've not experienced it. That's because I've not been there. And if you personally don't see it yourself, it's hard to imagine that. But whereas you know, you've been there, you've experienced UFOs. Lynn's explained it, experienced it, but I've never experienced it. But I'm not going to say there's nothing out there, because there's too many people with evidence to say, you know, there is. And we can't be the only people in this universe. We can't be.
No, definitely not. I mean, talking about. I mean, I always look at the UFO subject as paranormal because it is paranormal. That is outside.
That's what I think. I think it crosses over.
Well, it does. I mean,
between itself.
Yeah. You know, it says paranormal, which means outside the perception of normal. So, I mean, you can't get anything more than ghosts or UFOs, aliens, etc. But I'll tell you something. Something happened to me and my friend, and we were in North Wales, and we were just going for a leisurely walk down the old coach road. And it's an old coach road that has some history of coaches going over the edge and people being killed, fires and balls of light being seen, strange noises. A woman in white had been seen down there. We were just walking, and my friend used to go shooting down this particular place. And there's this little car, I remembered. And I'm talking to my friend at one side and my friend at the other. And all of a sudden, I noticed something. Now, I'd seen it before me. And I heard him say, "Hello, it's a nice day, isn't it?" And I looked, and I'm looking at this like a human, thin, tall. And I'm looking up, and I'm looking up, and I'm still looking up. I'm thinking, oh, God. And there's this bloke in a black suit with like a white shirt, and he's 8 foot tall. And I'm looking, and I'm looking at his face, and I seen his face, and I looked away, and I'm talking to my friend, and I'm saying to P, I'm saying to him, you know, we'll be not, you know, far before we get to the car. And he gives it, "We haven't come in car, what you on about?" And I'm going, and I'm looking like this, and oh hell no, we haven't, have we? Anyway, so then we goes past this little car, I think it were a Fiat, and we walked fast. And Johnson, he says, "Did you see him?" And he said that was like, he could only put it down to like an insect. The head was like an insect.
I can't get that into my head.
Prawn.
Yeah.
Like
I've seen drawings of things like that.
I've seen the thing. And believe me, I wanted to go to the toilet. I was so scared. I'm not joking. I nearly peed. I am not joking. I'm going to have to go to this. And I'm thinking to myself, I hope the bloody thing don't get me. And I'm behind this tree and I'm looking, you know, and I was petrified.
Definitely I would be.
And he said, did you see it? I said, did I see it? Of course I saw it.
So do you think? So like the man that was like 8 foot tall. Do you think that was related to your past experiences as well? The same sort of figures.
I was getting a bit worried. I'm thinking, don't say this is starting again. You know what I mean? But I mean, my friend after that, right? He came out of UFO investigations and started looking at big cats. Big cats, you know, that people see around, you know.
Podman and that.
Yeah, and he started looking. That was the last time I saw him that day. He turned around and says, you know, I'm going to pack this UFO business in, he says. And never saw him after that. I think I did see him a few years later because there were a big cat scene and I got him some information about it.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen him since that. But this thing, like I say, it was unbelievable.
I think that just frightened him too much.
Well, it frightened me. You know what I mean? I was absolutely petrified.
How many kind of alien races are there out there? You know, what you can think of?
Well, there's ones that I know of, what I've come across. Like I said, the tall blue aliens, the grey aliens, the tall grey aliens. There's these like, there's one that looks like a bull, one looks like a horse, half man, half horse, half bull, half man. There's one looks like a wolf, you know, but they're big, they're 10 foot tall. They
sound Egyptian in a way, don't they?
Very, very Egyptian, very Egyptian. And then we've got the thing is, you know, we've got these like us, they're from Earth, you know, humans. Then we've got some that look like Eastern European, the dark hair and what have you. We've got some Orientals again, like Japanese. You know, they're very strange. You know, sort of like, but a lot of these different races have people, have military working alongside them as their allies. Not like me and the units that I'm with that have been abducted. These seem to be people's. These seems to be armies working alongside them from other governments around the world.
Yeah.
You know, and so that means we're fighting potentially with soldiers from different countries around the world working for the other races of aliens.
It's. I don't know what you think, John. It's beyond my imagination, but
it is.
I mean, I have my theories where it all, and I'll ask you. It was something that you've just said, Jamie. Egyptians and the pyramids.
One of the last battles I were involved in was around pyramids.
Yeah.
And we basically stole an item. We stole this item and basically covered it and got it out of a pyramid.
Yeah.
Now I ain't saying it was in Egypt, but it was again very similar layout to the pyramids in Egypt and what have you. But that was one of the last missions I'd been on.
I just find it fascinating how they build them pyramids all them years ago.
Concrete.
And then when they've been in
sand, cement, and you've got the Nile concrete.
Well,
But
yeah,
how
it's
did they
like-
get them up?
common sense, that one.
But how did they get them up all them
Only
years
get
ago like that?
skyscrapers.
Well, he used to say, didn't he, the aliens had,
Yeah,
had done this
that's what
before.
they said, wasn't it? It's all in the hieroglyphics as well on the
Yeah.
walls, isn't it? And some of the pyramids, there's like men in spacesuits
Yeah, there
and
is.
rockets and stuff.
Mm.
How did they happen to be there all
Because,
them years ago?
because I think they had we've been something's happened where they've kept so many of us, the rest of us have died.
Mm.
So they were so advanced then. As
Yeah,
we've grown along with new things, we've lost that.
yeah.
But now we're starting to find all these things which are
Mm. Well, we've got
hundreds of
technology
thousands
seems
of
to
years
have-
old.
improved so
Yeah.
The
much.
technology seems to have, like, over the last however many years, it just seems to be racing, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's just getting
basically,
better and better.
what
yeah,
what it seems like what happened is that there'd been a number of wars
Mm.
on this planet.
Yeah.
They've looked
On
at
Earth.
areas. Sorry,
On Earth.
on Earth, yeah.
Yeah.
They've looked at areas around the world, and even up in Scotland, there's an area where there's like some kind of old castle up there, and it looks like it's been nuked
Yeah.
because it's turned the rock to glass.
Mm.
Same as over in Middle East, like with Sodom and Gomorrah and these places. There's places where they say that there's things happened where the fireballs have just come down rained, and they found
Yeah.
big holes where like there's been sort of like the equivalent to what it says in the Bible and what have you. Things have happened in these places.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the floods, or the flood, or I mean, it's like I got telling off. I always used to get told off at school and the boys' brigade, because I asked a question and I asked the same question, and it were in my religious education, and I said, we're talking about the animals going in 2 by 2 and what have you, and sort of like it's funny animals were going in, but we want. And I says, Miss, how comes that animals are going in? It's saving animals. What about us? What about humans?
Mm.
Don't ask impertinent questions. And I said, how do you mean, Miss? I says, why aren't humans going in?
That's right.
It's
And,
a logical question.
And I realised something, and this was a big shock to a young kid at 7-year-old. What does God want to wipe off the face of the earth?
Oh.
Us, mankind. That was the whole idea of the flood and Noah, to get rid of mankind off of the earth.
Right.
Well,
So when you ask a religious education teacher that, and she can't give you a straight answer, we're all praying to God and everything,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Well,
But you find out that God wants to say bye bye.
mm.
You know what I mean?
So-
It's like, as a kid, you're thinking, what?
so answer this one then. I was having a conversation last week, and it got onto global warming.
Yeah.
Which brings us on to a similar sort of thing. They're blaming global warming for all the floods and for all the ice caps melting and all the rest of it. Well, has Earth not been through ice ages and floods and all the rest of it for centuries?
yeah.
Yeah.
So why all of a sudden is it global warming? Why are we being blamed?
Well, this is it.
We're
You know-
getting rid
If
of
it's
the
all
car.
happened before,
Mm.
We're getting
Yeah.
rid of
The
the
dinosaur-
cars.
the dinosaurs never had aerosols,
It's
did they?
because of
No.
the tax.
So
It's because we've been taxed, that's why. And companies out there are trying to get people to do stuff
yeah.
so they don't live the same and they pay more tax.
Mm.
So it's all about this tax on people.
Yeah.
I mean, global warming. Yeah, there is.
Is it real though?
I've been told.
The dinosaurs
think
were
it
wiped
is.
out, weren't they?
Mm.
Well,
Was that an accident because a meteor destroyed, fell to Earth, and then basically there was so much dust and particles up. Most of the planet were in a cloud of smoke for about 1,000 years.
Right,
So
okay.
it killed off. It killed off most of life.
Mm.
That
Yeah,
was
but-
what it was supposed to be.
I also I was talking about this a couple of weeks ago myself, and they were saying somebody who was in the know about this. They've been doing scientific research and stuff,
Yeah.
and they've come out with a thing now where it was some kind of a virus,
Mm.
that's
Right.
killed off the dinosaurs.
An alien virus or a man-made virus?
I don't know, but they reckon that they were a production of aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't know. You don't
No.
know.
I mean, we'll never find out, will we?
Well,
No.
But it always comes back to a similar scenario, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
well, the thing is, we have got weapons. We have got
Yeah.
weather weapons. I mean, I remember one of the best music videos I've ever seen, and it was Kate Bush and Donald Sutherland in cloud busting.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's basically a true story, and it's about the government having a cloud busting weapon. In other words, it can create rain.
Mm.
It can, it's a weather weapon.
Yeah.
And the thing is, we know for certain that it's a key. He who has got the power to use a weather weapon,
Yeah.
can stuff it for a lot of people around the world.
Mm.
So, and I think most countries have been working on these weapons. It's like in the world deal, because the thing is, what they're looking to do is to get the upper hand on the rest of the countries around the world.
Now it's funny you're saying about the weapons there. There's a place in Liverpool are doing an open day. I'll call it an open day,
Yeah.
where all these companies are coming in and they're bringing in what I've heard is top of the range weapons for the different armies to look at. And now what they're saying, there's been a protest in Liverpool about this, and it's an arena in Liverpool. I can't remember the name of it, and they're asking them to stop it. I think it's in October that it's opening.
Yeah, well, they've been going on for. I mean, I've been to them myself.
Yeah,
years
but
ago.
it shows you that. I mean, even people are now getting frightened of what technology is coming up, because they're saying, "Why do we need these?
Mm.
Why
to keep
do we
people
need
safe,
this?
to keep enemies away from your door.
Is it to keep us safe, or is it to control us?"
It's control.
Yeah.
Well, let's put it this way: if you've got certain people from countries are hell bent on making you slaves and what have you, to keep them out. I can think of one lot of people that are working with a certain blue alien race that are hell bent on wanting to destroy everything on the sort of like western side from where they live.
It's pretty frightening when you think of it like that, and you think that there's alien wars.
Well, there is. This is the whole premise of what I've been talking about in the book. That it's not only an alien war. It's like a war which is taking place on this planet and other planets, because there's no doubt, what I've seen, there's fighting on other planets as well.
Mm.
And I mean, You can well believe that there's more technology that they've got, all these governments in all these countries on our planet. Well, a lot more technology than what we ever think or dream of. Is that how can you send a rocket to Mars and land a craft and control it
Yeah.
thousands, millions of miles away?
Yeah.
There's another one, isn't there? That's still going.
Yeah.
That's still sending pictures back to Earth,
Yeah.
and it's billions of miles away. It's been going since the 70s, is it?
It has,
Can't
yeah.
remember the name of it. It's still going.
Oh,
You can't imagine it.
It's still,
We're
it's
just-
still
we're just
going
talking
along.
about
It's a
this.
long. Yeah.
We're just
How?
talking about this the other day.
I can't remember what it's called. It's got a name, and
Not
it's
Galileo. Oh,
I can't remember. But isn't it? It's. I mean, it's gone past like. I
it's
don't know
sell
what
by
I'm-
date. It's well.
Yeah,
past
it should have well run out by
it.
now,
And it's still sending.
but it's still
messages
sending
back.
pictures back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How is that even possible?
What
Just
is-
So, builder done a good
the
job.
thing is, the
Yeah,
thing
but you're
is,
talking
No
70s
batteries on that
technology.
one.
No.
no.
70s technology,
Yeah.
and it's
Yeah.
our
So-
70s technology
Because they already had
sending
it.
Mm.
pictures from millions of miles away in space back to Earth.
Well, they already had that technology, didn't they?
Well, this is
They've had it for a lot longer than
So
that.
what technology have they got now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think,
That's
Russ,
scary.
do
It
you
is.
think
It
there
is.
are aliens out there helping? We've got Area 51. We've even got an Area 51 in the UK, as you know yourself, underground. Nobody knows what's in there. Do you think they're in contact, and it's going to sound a silly question, with an alien source and using the alien source's technology for Earth?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, you've only got to look at the Second World War. That all that didn't come about by accident. That was something getting into somebody's mind and making them want to be powerful and giving them power and sharing. And the thing is, what we found out, I mean, if you have a look at all of the technology in Germany from NASA, I mean, it was run by the SS,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and you can't take anything from that, you know, away from that, because it was run. It were all the guys from Operation Paperclip, and they've gone over, and there was basically all the scientists from the Rocket Propulsion Centre at Peenemünde, and you know, a few other places, and we was told we had our own NASA, very equivalent to NASA in this country,
Mhm.
and it was up on the west coast of England and Scotland, and the Americans didn't like it, and they said, sorry, you're going to have to get rid of that.
Yeah. I believe it's still there now, but it's abandoned.
It is up there, and its counterpart was over in Australia at Woomera.
Mhm.
So the thing is, you know, we'd come out of the Second World War, we'd lost a heck of a lot because it'd been split up with Russia, you know, and America, and really, you know, we came out very poor off.
Yeah.
And it's something that you know, people don't really grasp, you know. But the technology, you know, what this country and the things what this country have done is just amazing. And you know, it's a case of people shouldn't forget that. A fantastic country, and one day it might get back on its feet with a bit of luck.
Well, I hope so. Yeah.
You know, but yeah, so it's a case of the same thing again today. You know, you've got, if you've got an alien race and it's giving information and technology like it did in the Second World War, just think about what it's doing now.
Good.
Yeah.
Just think, you know, about it could be in. I know it's in. I know one league of aliens, and who they are in league with, and we have big problems.
Yeah.
Big problems at the moment, because believe me, this is about as bad as it can get. When you've got alien technology being given to a country as tyrannical, and it doesn't want the rest of the world to live, you've got problems.
Scary. It's very scary.
Big problems.
Now, going on to, we were saying we've got an Area 51 in the UK. I honestly don't know what it's called because I've never really gone into the ufology stuff. Have you personally visited any of these locations?
I think there's we're talking about this in Wiltshire. To be quite honest, it's one person saying that. I would say that there's quite a few areas up and down in Great Britain or the UK where there's areas maybe of very top secret technology going on, and no more than not so far from here.
Wow.
And definitely in North Wales.
Yeah. Well, it's renowned for it in North Wales, and there's the you've got the hill there as well, haven't you? Not what's the name of the hill?
You mean the Berwyn Mountains?
That's the one. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I mean, if you have a look, there's quite an expanse there of land and area all the way down Wales, not only North Wales, but all the way down. And then there's the rest of the country, and Scotland.
Scotland's big.
And it's a case of, we know for certain that there's been bunkers placed, and they were placed for the problem maybe that was what they saw as maybe coming, which would have been the Iron Curtain and the Cold War with the Russians.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's been a lot of tunnelling and a lot of work going on there. So you just don't know.
No.
If what else there is.
Yeah, it's
what else is there?
Yeah, it's a huge subject.
Oh, it is. Yeah, there's no doubt.
And one that you could just. I think you could write about 10 books. Never mind, just one or two.
We've got one or two more in store, I think.
Well, I know you're going to come back to that as well when you get your second book.
Right,
but I've got to turn it now onto the paranormal, and it's great that we've got this and the paranormal all merged into one, because we were talking before about shadows, and that was like it freaked me out a little bit, really, thinking that these shadows could be from another planet.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd heard people. I remember hearing somebody talk about shadow people and saying, the ghosts and all this, and it's nothing to do with UFOs, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, you haven't got a clue. You can't tell somebody that, right? Yeah, I'm from a unit that uses this technology, right? Yeah, and it's teleportation, and I know that we can walk through solid objects, right? Yeah, and basically come out the other side, and I know that when we're doing that we look like shadow people.
Now you just remind me of something, right? One of the greatest magicians, what is his name? I can't remember.
Houdini.
No, and he didn't he go to the China Wall, the Great Wall of China?
Yeah.
And he walked from one side of the wall to the other. Can I think of his name? And he went through the wall. How he done it, I do not know, but I remember watching it on TV, and I can't think of his name.
Not Dynamo.
No, not Dynamo. No, this is a magician who's well before him and everything else. He made tanks disappear.
Aleister Crowley?
No, he made everyone disappear, allegedly. But tanks. He made a tank disappear. I know it's magic, but he made a tank disappear. Now you're talking about this thing where we can walk through walls. I'm just wondering now, and it might be my crazy mind is. I wonder if he used that technology. What you're talking about.
Well, if they've got it, everybody else has probably got it. I mean, the thing is, this is what we're saying. We had this because we were part of an alien unit.
Mm.
Where did they get it from?
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? It's a case of it's technology, and that's all it ever is.
Mm.
These aliens are only good as the technology.
Well, look what you can do now. Avatars. You can make. I'll give a prime example. One of my favourite groups. Well, here's my favourite group. Is ABBA, right? They're down in London now. They've got all this technology now, and they're not going to be there, but their avatars are. Yeah. And I don't know whether you've seen any of the footage of the new videos out or anything like that. Absolutely incredible, absolutely amazing, and that's all done with this technology. Now, this can be used for other things. I think to myself, when I was looking at it, I was thinking they could build a technological army, which looks bigger than it is. Do you understand what I mean?
Right,
they can use it. They can manipulate it.
That's right. Yeah.
To deceive us.
Yeah.
And that's out there. But let's go on to. I mean, we could go on and on for this. I mean, we could probably do a 4-hour show with this, you know. And do you know what's amazing out of all this? Lynn's not spoken.
She just sat there.
That's more.
That's a miracle in itself.
Exactly. Yeah, I can't believe we've gone an hour and 20 minutes, and Lynn has said one word. That is more incredible than aliens. So we're going. Let's bring in Lynn to the talk. The poor lady's sitting there. Well, we need a hijack here. Now, I've known Lynn for I do not know how long. It must be 12, 13, 14 years now. We've had some great paranormal investigations, and you've got in your book, which I'll name again now, which is called RUSS KELLETT is E.T Rider, Original Super Soldier. Okay, and you've brought some paranormal stuff into that, like the shadow people, and it's great because it's now gone on to that. And me and Jonathan were talking to you a little bit earlier on about shadow people and shadow things we've seen here at Mill Street Barracks, and to think they're aliens, that's like kind of freaked me a little bit.
I'm glad I wouldn't have to sell her that night.
The thing is, when we
I'm not. You could have been abducted.
When we're saying aliens, the thing is, I would say, not in, it's in the book, and I'm in a military unit which is connected to this alien race. But remember, it's only technology. So the thing is, looking at it from that angle. So you could say, right then, is it something that's had that technology that people are seeing? Right, yeah, for instance, we are on this planet, we are fighting, we have used that technology. So could people have seen us because we have done things and we have lifted people from areas? So is it a case of people seeing the residue of us doing something, going maybe abducting, because we do abduct other people as well. Yeah. That's something people don't realise. We do abduct people. We take people. It might be if somebody's maybe causing a problem in a country, and that person has to be offed, lifted, or whatever you want to call it. We will go in and we'll take them.
Big example, Bin Laden.
Yeah. So it could be people seeing us, but also, this could go back hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Because there is a form of time travel as well. So are they seeing things that have happened before? you know, like we were talking about, well, you know, dinosaurs and stuff like that. Had there been a war previous? And if they had, you know, you could say to yourself, I bet 100 to 1 the technology what they had, you know, was probably superior to what we've got today. Could it be some residue that people, you know, like, and they're seeing it happen again?
Yeah.
If you see what I mean.
Residual energy, isn't it?
Yeah. So you don't know anyway. So it's just a thought, you know.
Yeah. But it's a good thought. I'm like, I'm going to hate going home tonight. My mind's going to be going, So hello, Lynn.
Hello.
Is that it?
Yeah. It's very nice to be here, guys.
I'm so pleased you brought Russ along. And
good.
you know, what a fantastic man.
I only associate myself with interesting people.
Oh, thank you.
I know.
So as I was saying before, Russ, I've known Lynn since she was same height.
I want to say since she's that big, but she's still that big.
Yeah.
Still that big.
And she's got the most infectious, what is it called? Infectious laughter you could ask for. You can tell Lynn's coming a mile away, can't you?
I know, yeah. Can hear it.
Now, we're going to go from the aliens and the ufology stuff over to the paranormal, and we're going to go to a place we were talking about a little bit earlier on, was Hack Green, wasn't it?
Yes, yeah.
And that knits in well with what you were saying, because we were talking about where aliens taken to Hack Green and where we there. Now, it's again, this is like my mind's kicking in now. I haven't got a memory loss, right?
Yes.
I think.
Do
you remember on the night remember that night we were at Mill Street Palace? I have got memory loss. Hack Green. And we were all there. You were in our group. We were all together.
Yeah.
And we went down on a ghost hunt, and there was a huge scream.
Yes.
Do you remember it?
I do.
Now, could that have been what we think it was? Well, we know we said it was a woman. We heard a woman screaming and everything else. But could that have gone further back to that? Let's think about that. Of what you were saying, the aliens were taken there.
It could have been. You don't know, do you?
I know we're only knitting stories together now, but it fits in well with what Russ has been saying about the alien stuff, and what you were saying is happening. Allegedly, that's where they were.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, we've had some things like that. Now, he's got me thinking: could we have been anywhere else where these aliens were, or
well, it seems to
the
me
paranormal?
like
You've got me going crazy, Russ.
Oh,
You've got me going crazy. Yeah.
The thing is, everything that I've experienced without him knowing is associated me with him about what's going on with his new book. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. You couldn't write it.
You are.
Well, we are, yeah. But, do you know what I'm saying? It's just everything's connected up. Absolutely everything.
Well, it's in the same category as you were saying, that paranormal. That's what it is, isn't it? It's not the norm.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think I'll have to start looking into it, because I've never ever once been interested in the UFO side of it. I've always switched off to it. Don't know why. I think more because I'm more into the paranormal and the investigations. But my relatives live down in Wiltshire. And there's a big hill there, isn't there? A famous hill there. Yeah. And I remember, sadly my mum's passed away, but I remember my mum telling me that she went up on this hill. And it was a very surreal and strange experience they were having up there. It might not be ufology, it might be the wrong kind of thing, but because my dad was there as well. So it might have been out of this world for them, but... But when they said when they went on this hill, it was very, very strange, and there was people up there, all sitting watching the sky, and they said it was like they were drawn to it. They weren't interested, but they said, we're here, let's go up, and they said they got drawn into that that kind of world of wow, this is what you do. And she went and bought the book. There was a book house about it.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the hill now, but there's a book.
Hang on, wait a minute.
No, Salisbury Hill's the song, isn't it?
No, wait a minute.
Yeah, I'll have to ask my cousin.
Glastonbury. Is it Glastonbury?
I don't know. I just can't think. But there's just, and I remember that me mum and dad went to the top and said it was one of the strangest nights they've ever had, and I think that's because of the alien thing.
Well,
I'm sure she said they saw something that they couldn't explain.
But in that area also, it's just full of ley lines.
Right.
It's full of ley lines.
Well,
now, I'm an empath and I pick up on everything. Everything. And I've only ever been down to Glastonbury once.
Yeah.
And maybe 20 miles out, that's when I started picking up on everything. I was feeling the energy. It was like it was magical. It was magical. I've never felt nothing like it before, ever. I've never felt nothing like it since. Amazing place.
Right.
You can just feel it. Just feel it.
It is different. I mean, I've been down there because my relatives live down there. And you've got Salisbury Plain, you've got Stonehenge, you've got the Avebury Stones and that. And you've got everything there from the UFOs to the paranormal. And that seems to be like the hot spot of, to me, the country. That's the hot spot.
Yeah, yeah.
I think you got the first place where Joseph came over and supposedly put a staff in the ground, and there was a tree from the Mediterranean that grew from his staff.
All right.
You know, a palm tree.
Yeah.
Because of this is where it all spans from, bringing Christianity across. You know, across to that area, that specific area, because there's one of the oldest churches around there as well. You know. But there's also, like you said, there's ley lines, but down there's also all the what you call crop circles that turn up.
Yeah.
And they turn up. Obviously, there's a big expanse there of land where there's, you know, a lot of fields there to grow corn and wheat and all that sort of thing. But this is where there's so many different crop circles down there too.
Right. But the shame is with the crop circles, you've got the artists who can do them as well now, and it's like anything, isn't it? It becomes difficult to prove.
Yeah.
And that's the sad part of it. I mean, it's healthy because you've got the logical people, and then you've got us, the illogical people. Now, I'm going to ask both of you. You both have been on investigations, paranormal investigations yourself, and I know you're into the UFOs. Where have you been? I'm going to change it to the paranormal now because we've got about 25 minutes left. What got you into the paranormal as well? Because you've both got both dimensions here, haven't you? Paranormal, right. Ufologist. Yeah.
Well, with me, you know, I'd seen something as a child, and it was like a very strange thing, like a witch at the top of the steps where landing was, and I thought to myself, what's that? You know, and this thing was looking down at me, and I'm thinking, is it a witch? Is it a ghost? You know.
Yeah.
So that was something I'd always remembered as a child. Then I had some neighbours who were always playing with Ouija boards.
Yeah.
And as soon as this happened, the friendship of people and the families with this family, with playing this Ouija board, I would say it brought nothing but misery to the family.
Right.
Brought nothing but misery to the family. You could tell as they were walking around there was something wrong. When we first met them, they were all right and what have you, but all of a sudden, there was talk about, I would, you know, sort of like this, you know, this neighbour, the daughter, absolutely lovely, you know, and because of all this, there were a bit of a strain, and we were teenagers, you know what I mean? And I said to her, you know, what is wrong, you know? And it was very odd. It was a very odd time, was this. So I sort of wanted to know a bit more about this, you know, but I was a bit scared. You know what I mean? I was a bit scared. Then a friend had been in army, and they'd done something with a Ouija board, and I never found out the truth behind what happened, but there were a bit of a tragedy, apparently. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm associating this now with things that are not good, and people maybe not protecting themselves when they're using these things. So I then, looking at this, and said, shall we go do some ghost hunting? And there was a pub in Scarborough, and my friend had all the cameras and what have you, and everything set up, night vision. So we decided to go on a, you know,
bit of a vigil.
Yeah, if you could call it that, you know, just amateurs just starting. And so we did this, and didn't really see anything, you know, didn't see anything, and then found out that there was supposed to be ghosts, that walked near where I lived. This you know, this person was supposed to be walking. He had, I think he had a wooden leg or something really bizarre, and then finding about a werewolf that lived in the next village and stuff like that, you know, sort of like. But unfortunately, my family had a crisis, so I couldn't go out on any more vigils and any ghost hunting, and I couldn't even go out on the, you know, sky watchers and give any talks anymore. So that was sort of like me, you know, sort of like the end of what I'd started, if you know what I mean. But always had a passion and watching TV programs like Most Haunted and what have you, you know, but not having the time to go do it anymore. If you see what I mean.
So you filled in them gaps by watching them on the television.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Heck
yeah.
And now you're back with a passion anyway.
Well, yeah.
With Lynn.
And especially with Lynn, because I mean, I've been talking, and you know, she's told me all sorts and about Wepper Park and what have you.
Yeah.
You know, and other things, and these areas on the map, and it's just unbelievable that she's been, and she's told me things, and I said, wait a minute, I've got that on a map, and we've been having a look, and this has happened, that's on the map, and you know, it's just unbelievable. So she's drawn me back into all this,
which is great.
It is, yeah.
And Lynn, and I mean, she's so full of enthusiasm. She tells me I'm just laughing. She's really helped us. I mean, with this book, you know, and this second book, you know, and I think there's a lot. I mean, she's got so much, you know, and you know, it's unbelievable. You know, and she's got, and she's, and it's like, this is your life, isn't it? This. Well, Lynn, tonight we have brought in Russ Kellett.
Price is right.
Yeah. But no, it's nice though that you're being acknowledged, because you are, and I know you're going to go, oh no, I'm not. No, you know, you bring everything to life. You've got the enthusiasm. You take us. We've been to Wepper Park with you, which is very, very haunted.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And she got us lost. But anyway, that's another story. We went for we've been all over Wepper Park. I don't remember where we've been because it was pitch black. But yeah. But Lynn took us there, and this is this. And we've actually said we want to go back with you with the recorders and record it. You know, the tour of
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, but we've got to be nice to her because we'll never get out of the place.
I mean, I've seen some of the new stuff what she's got, and the images and the pictures and the photographs.
Yeah.
And they should be in the tabloids shortly.
Mm.
In fact, you know, we'll be at the what do you call it, garage at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, seeing if there's any papers. We're hoping that there's a feature going in.
Yeah.
Oh heck yeah!
Oh, you'll have to tell us what it is, Lynn, so we can go and get it, and then we can feature it on here.
Yes, it's that one. It's about a friend of the family.
Yeah. Thought that was the end of the story then.
A friend of the family had been to Flint Castle. He goes there every weekend with his little boy, 6 or 7, and he runs around the castle, and then this friend of ours takes photographs, and every weekend they have a lovely time. And it's 16th of August he'd been, and he got home, had a look at the pictures, and there was something not quite right on this photograph. So he zoomed in, and what he's actually got is just, we can't figure out if it's a man or woman. It looks like it's carrying a baby. It looks like a soldier's got armour plating on its shoulders. It looks like a black person, but it isn't. It's got a black helmet on, long dress. But I've had historians and everybody ringing me up, and one lady said that she's done the history on all the clothing about what soldiers wore, this, that, because you'd think if it was in a castle you'd associate it with
the soldier.
See, and it's all about association in people's minds, but it's not, because fashions change. What we think as soldiers, what they wear now, what they wore 100 years ago, 200-300 years ago,
completely different.
What you're talking about 1,000 years ago, if it was that.
Wow.
Yeah. But they wore different clothes. The soldiers wore long dresses. It could be that. We don't know what it is.
And
It's caused a storm. It's caused a good storm.
Yeah.
It's got people talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got people. We've got this photograph, so that's going out.
You showed me the photo.
Yeah.
Is it an apparition?
Yeah, we don't know. I think it could be an apparition. In fact, I think it was so relaxed there because there was nobody. You don't get many people in Flint Castle. There's something special going on. It's so relaxed there that this apparition came through. It allowed a friend of ours to capture it. Just that brief second, it came through, and then it's disappeared. Now, a couple of days ago, I had a phone call, a message off this lady in Wallasey, and she said that she was a support worker and she had taken this person over to Flint Castle. They wanted to go there, and it was late at night, and they wanted to see. By the time they got there, it was even later. They wanted to see the castle lit up. And they got to the car park. There was 2 other cars on the car park. They just sat there and looked at the castle because they had to stay in the car. So she gets out the car, lights a fag up. These 2 other cars disappear. So then the lights go out, and then she notices in between the castle, in the moat basically, it's in the moat, and there was a long, tall, greyish coloured, featureless
Oblong, wasn't it?
oblongy. She said it could have been a person, it couldn't have been, she didn't know, but it was there, but she felt it was looking at her, and she felt so scared she couldn't look, so she put her fag out, went back into the car. By the time she got into the car, which was a few steps away,
Yeah.
that apparition or whatever it was, this big, tall, long, grey, oblongy figure was on the car park. Now, to get out of that moat, it's a hell of a... I'm fit for my age. I do a lot of walking, as you know, and to get up out of that moat, it takes a lot of effort.
Yeah.
To get over from the bottom of that moat to on the car park near the car, that was just... And they got in the car and they went. It frightened them. So there's a lot of stuff going there on it. We don't know what it is. What she's seen, we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, we do not know what that is. But I did have a piece in Fate and Fortune.
Fate and Fortune, yeah.
Of Emlyn, the archer who lives and still lives and protects Weppelwoods and Newlow Castle. So I managed to get that in. And that was all about the story. Excuse me. It started off many years ago. Somebody asked me to make a ghost club up, and I'd never thought about doing anything like that ever before. And they mithered me to death. And anyway, I said, right, what we'll do then, we'll go up to the castle one night. It was a Sunday. It was one day, but it was a Sunday. It was in November. It was slightly snowing. So we went up to the castle. We went up to where the stairs are going up to the tower. I stood on the platform. They were talking. This couple were talking. And I noticed in my peripheral vision a man who kept walking between the trees at the back by the fields, but inside the park. So when I looked at it, I noticed and looked away. And anyway, I found that quite strange. I mean, that night, what happened was, I had this strange dream. In my dream, I was back on these steps. The man came up the moat, over the wall. He said to me, hello, he said, I'm Emlyn. I need you to show you how I died. I went, you what? Next thing, he's on the floor. There's a skinny guy, young teenager, on top of this Emlyn with a stone tool, and he was hacking his chest open, and he pulled his heart out, and it was still beating, and the fear on this Emlyn's face. So I started running. And as I run, I started floating in the air. And then the next thing, I was in a box room. When I was in this box room, I was looking at orbs. Me and orbs don't really mix. It could be dust, light deflection, this, that and the other. And I stand there and thought, and I'll talk it out. The door opens, because I didn't know where I was, didn't know whose box room I was in. Nothing. Door opens. A girl from work, because I used to work in Chester at the time. Lucy, she came in. She said, Lynn, what are you doing in my room? What the hell are you doing? I said, I don't know, Lucy, I've just turned up. I said, but can you see the orbs? She said, well, yeah. Anyway, the door opened, and in walks this man. And then I woke up, so I thought, what a strange dream. Went to work next day, hoping that she was in work, and she was, and she came into the kitchen at lunchtime. She said, oh, I'm glad I've seen you. I said, look, I've got something to tell you, Luce. Anyway, she said, let me tell you first. She sat down. She said, I had a strange dream about you last night then. You were in my box room.
Oh, my word.
She said, you were asking me, well, what, can you see the orbs? And I said, well, isn't that strange? She said, yeah. She said, then the door opens and this man comes in. I said, what does he look like? And she told me it was this Emlyn. 2 years later now, I was doing a ghost walk through the woods with 25 people or more. My little club was there doing it with them. And I felt a bit of a plonker, and these people, some of them hadn't been on anything this before, and they were looking for excitement. So I shouted out told him about Emlyn, shouted out to him, and I invited him and his friends down and said, these people come from all over the country to see you tonight and see your friends. Come down, have your photographs up. So half an hour later, this girl come up to me. She said, she said, do you know what this is? And I looked, I said, I don't know, can I have it? She said, yeah. She gives me this photograph, so I get home and I have a look at it. And what have I got on there? Emlyn and a young lady.
Cool.
So that's the photograph that's gone in Fate and Fortune. It's a fantastic photograph. You can make it out, you can see her, and it's amazing. So since then, I've actually found out that a couple of other people have known about him for many years. I didn't know about this. It's sort of come out the blue to me, so that was interesting. So we've put it into the fables and the folklore of Wepper Park, which we do every year.
Yeah.
Halloween.
Yeah.
I've been to one.
Yeah. Those are the beginnings.
Yeah.
So we've got him in there now, which is really, really interesting. But it's like, there's a lot of people say about drums there which have been left. It's like an echo of an energy that's been left there from the war, which was called the Coles Hill War, which was the battle between Henry II and Owain Glyndŵr. And they had this battle. Owain was in Greenfield. He was based there. He knew Henry had come with 30,000 men. They were based in the salt marshes by Chester. An army of them went over by boat to conquer Anglesey. Henry and his right-hand man came over to Wepper. They walked up, there was a battle in there. Majority of them, I think there was about 3,000 of them. Owain's sons, two sons, there was Cunith and David, they had about 300 men there at Wepper Park.
Yeah.
And Glyndŵr went over with more to help them. And then most of the English were slaughtered, but Henry got out. But that echo of these drums going to war, which would have been Henry's, gets heard, and I never believed it. Never believed that. My sons had heard it. There were three of them. My son, two sons, and a friend of theirs had been to the Tiv to see my niece in a band up there. Now they had enough money to get in a pint. They had no money to get home, so they had to walk all the way from Buckley, walk through the lanes, through the woods. And as they were going up these steps to cut through onto Wepper Lane, their eyes and they heard the drums. So they started running. So as they went up the steps, their attention was taken to the right-hand side, and the three of them seen a big giant ball of light, which was like, like a bubble.
Yeah.
Soap bubble, and it was changing colours. It was changing colours, and it was hovering 6 foot off the floor. It was massive, they said, and then it flew over towards the fields where the soldiers would have come in from.
Yeah.
Now, it couldn't have been mass illusion. You don't have all three of them. They weren't taking drugs. If they weren't seeing the same thing. They all seen the same thing.
Yeah.
Years later, when I was with this couple, we'd been for a ghost walk 2 o'clock in the morning, as you do, and we were sat there in freezing cold. There was nobody out. It was ice everywhere. The place was just deserted. People were in bed except for us. We were snug. We were freezing, and we sat there. Now, this couple, if you said, "I've just seen something," they'll say, "Yeah, I've seen that." Right, and they just thought you've got to be careful what you say to them because they'll mimic you. So it's power of suggestion with them. You've got to be careful.
Yeah.
And I don't do power of suggestion. You either see it or you don't.
Yeah.
Don't make it up. It doesn't make sense. Anyway, I sat there, and his wife was rolling him a cigarette. Anyway, I heard these drums, and I knew what it was straight away. And it made me shudder. Deep bass, and I tried to figure, and it would have been in that area because I could hear where it was coming from. She said, "I can hear drums, Lynn, can you?" He said, "No, you can't." He said, "Because I can't hear him." I said, "Actually, I've heard it." She's right, we've heard it. So we didn't bother going in that night. We didn't go back in. We stayed out. We stayed out. So it has been heard, and people have seen things in there. The fables there are fantastic, absolutely wonderful. It's like Class Tag. I've got that much footage from that place. Ghosts there, a monk. I've got 2 pictures of little boys, the same little boy. One walking through a wall, and one the same little boy looking through a glass window months later. It was just a report. When people started getting cameras on the phones and they started taking pictures about them, and it was given to me, and I've got that, and a monk. It's marvellous. Amazing stories.
Brilliant.
It's just, I mean, I just love the whole lot of it.
Well, we're going to get you back about Wepler Park. We've had it before. Well, we're coming towards the end of the show. How quick has that gone? And the reason why I'm going to get that is I want to get Russ's book. Russ Kellett is E.T Rider, original super soldier. How can people get hold of this book? And also your website, if you can give us that as well, please, Russ.
Yeah, it's www.ufo.uk.net is our website, and you can get the book on Amazon.
And all you need to do is type in Russ Kellett.
Yeah, E.T Rider.
Or E.T Rider, and it'll come up on there. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Super.
All I can say is a big thank you to you for coming in, because you've come all the way from Wales today to be on the show, which is phenomenal. And also thank you for completely keeping Lynn quiet. I mean, I'm still getting over it, you know. But we do appreciate you coming in today, and it's been fantastic. And will you come back again?
Of course.
Yeah. With Lynn?
Of course.
And we might even get Lynn to talk. So what I've got to say now is thank you for listening in, to everybody listening in. I'd like to thank Russ Kellett for coming in with his book E.T Rider. I'd also like to thank Lynn for bringing Russ along and introducing us. It's been phenomenal. His stories have been brilliant. I'd also like to thank Jonathan for being here, not saying much, which is fantastic as well. But we'll be back again this time next week. So please tune in, and we'll see you then. Good night.